Welcome to Paperback Perspectives, a podcast about books, where your hosts, Ryan, Kaylin, and Annette, give you their perspectives on all things reading. Cozy up in your favorite book nook and let's dive in.
That's you.
What up, Bookies? We back. Book club time.
Spoilers!
Woo.
Spoiler alert.
Just right off the bat.
You've had
Good
1
warning.
month.
I should get that as a button on the
They have
soundboard.
had 1 month.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Info hazard.
Welcome,
Spoiler alert.
everybody, to Paperback Perspectives, where this chapter we're talking about Fourth Wing.
Fourth wing.
Not the third wing.
I think we should start with a disclaimer.
A spoiler alert disclaimer?
Yep.
I think they got... Hopefully they got that.
Yeah.
Watch out for
We're
the
diving
skinny
deep.
jeans.
We're not going into anything Iron Flame, which is the
Nope.
second book. So spoilers of just Fourth Wing, not spoilers of
Iron
Iron Flame.
If
or
you
Onyx
have
Storm.
not read it and you want to, stop listening and come back and listen after you've read it.
But you
Yes.
better come back and listen.
Yeah.
Or
If
else
you're
I'll
not
be
interested-
really sad.
in dragon romantasy books, then keep listening and see if you think we're crazy for liking it or not.
Or maybe if you're like hearing our banter about it, you might be intrigued and like, oh, maybe I'll take it a
We'll
little
see.
further and read it.
Or maybe you just like us and you want to hang out with us for a little bit.
We like
Or
hanging
maybe
out
you
with
stop
you.
listening and just move on.
Bye.
All right. So, welcome all you who have read it. Because we're
What?
getting into spoilers.
That was
Welcome all ye who have read it.
a
What?
good sentence.
Is that some? Are you speaking dragon speak from the land of Navarre or what?
Is that how you say it?
Just practice
Navarre.
something.
Okay.
It's Navarre.
I said Navarre all through the book.
Wrong.
So we will probably get into more pronunciations. So as much like other fantasy books, this book has had some pretty interesting verbiage. And so I think we'll have some interesting difference in opinion on how things are said.
That's good. Yeah. I listened to a few chapters on the audiobook because I wanted to hear how they said some of the names, but I might not remember how they said them because I didn't do the whole book that way. I just picked a few chapters and
I just texted my friend Jordan whenever I ran into a name I didn't know, and I was like, how do you pronounce this? And then he would send me a little voice memo, and I'd be like, no, that's wrong. I'm pronouncing it differently.
See, I just did all of this in my head.
perfect.
Like ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses, I read the entire series except for the last one because that one came out later than all the other ones. The entire series thinking it was Rysand. And that's not his name.
You fool.
I know. The whole series.
Do you just keep it that way in
Yeah.
your head? I would too.
Yeah.
Because you know what? It's all how you experience the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt
Well, how
silly.
did you experience this book, Mom? Boom!
Oh, pressure on me first. I liked this book a lot. I'll be honest, the first 100 or so pages, like many other books, I was a little like, well, I don't really get what the whole big hype is on this book. I'm not sure. And then all of a sudden things went out of control and I became very hooked and I really enjoyed it.
What would you rate it out of 5 stars?
4.5.
All right. Nice.
I think that's kind of where I'm sitting too. Not a 5, but I don't think I can put it because I enjoyed it. I didn't read it to like criticize it. I just read it for enjoyment.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, well, there are some people that I know that are like, they analyze it and they're like, well, that's all right. Not
We
the
have
You wore
talked-
skinny jeans.
not the skinny jean type of analyzing, but just like the style of writing and
Yeah.
like the language that they used in the book. And I will say that is a valid criticism that I had too. It's not written like super intellectually, I'll say. Very much aimed for like just a chill read audience.
I don't think I ever read books for that. I think I just read books because I want to escape and have
Exactly. And
a
that's where I'm
story
at,
in my
too.
head that I fall into.
Yeah.
And I
that
did.
was the one thing that just kind of caught my eye right away. Is like it's not to the level of writing as like ACOTAR, I would say. But if you like this style of story with like everything else and you liked Fourth Wing, you're gonna love A Court of Thorns and
Actually,
Roses.
I would argue that Throne of Glass, if you're going for more writing style, I would go more Throne of Glass. But we're kind of going down a rabbit hole.
And I would say I really liked the dialogue in this book because it was funny. Like there
Banter.
was great sarcasm and back and forth. Like there's a grumpy, sarcastic dragon that's my favorite character ever, which we'll get into later. And I thought the dialogue back and forth was so much fun.
Agreed. Yeah. So I did give it 5 stars, which
What? Kaylin did a
Really?
5-star?
which I think is strictly because I was like the whole time just like I'm entertained. And
Yeah.
That's fair.
That is very fair.
I debated a 5. But
Yeah, so 5 for me. I hadn't read a actually fantasy book in a while. I was kind of wrecked by Sarah J. Maas universe. I had read some of like T.J. Klune's kind of stuff, but like where you go into a whole different universe.
that's a way different
Very
kind of
different
fantasy.
style.
Yeah.
That's more magic.
Yeah,
I
where
don't
it's
know.
still set in like modern world, where this is where you kind of go totally somewhere else and you're not, here. And so it was really fun for me to get back into fantasy. And I very much enjoyed that. So 5 stars from me.
Wow, very nice.
Yeah.
I've heard that the last 2 books are even better.
Okay.
So
Well, I have the second one and I'm looking forward to reading it.
I'm 2/3 of the way through the second one. It's very good.
I'm moving into a house, so I'm a little busy. I don't
Yeah.
know when I'm in a house now. I don't know when I'm going to be able to read next. But I'll give a more in-depth house update later when I'm not overwhelmed and exhausted.
It would be a good winter book too.
It'll be a great winter book. Hopefully I'll get to the lake at some point this summer too. And it'll be a good lake book. So, should we start breaking down the book? Like, how do you want to do it? Chapter by chapter? Just kind of go through high points, low points, what stood out to us? What do you think?
We'll touch on this a little bit. So throughout my read, I had read it after both of them. And so I thought it would be fun, since both of them have already experienced the book, that it would be fun to jot my thoughts and emotions and what's happening in my brain unfiltered onto a notes app. And I shared that with them because they both knew kind of where I was at and what was happening in the story at that time, or even what was possibly coming up. And so I shared that notes app with them. And so it's been kind of fun to...
It was awesome. We were very entertained by it. You had some really great observations.
Yeah, thank you. And
And some were really funny and some were like, oh no, Kaylin,
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. And I thought it was actually fun. I don't annotate, or I haven't annotated in books. I know some people really enjoy annotating. I haven't really done that before, but it was fun to then, when I did finish the book, I looked back and was like, some of these notes are kind of fun to read and see where I was at that time, instead of, at the end of the book, you have it all figured out already. And then it's like, oh, I knew that the whole time. But then actually seeing where you were at that time is fun.
Was it more fun to annotate for others than yourself?
I think so, yeah. It was fun to be like, ooh, they know what's happening, or like giving a little note for
To
you
see our
guys
response.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought that was fun.
It was
It
very
also
fun.
was fun because anytime we have read, I feel like, the same book, I have typically read the book first.
Yeah.
Like all of
Yep.
Sarah J. Maas's and a lot of other books, like I have read that book first. So it was fun to be the one in the blind. Is that a word? Or is that a phrase?
in the dark.
Yeah. That's what
right.
it is. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Blind sounds
Do
like
any
a
of you
cool
have-
fantasy
It does.
Ooh.
setting?
That
Yeah.
does, yeah.
In the blind.
Do any of you guys have a favorite note of mine, or do you want to go
I was
chapter
just
by
looking at
chapter?
that. I think chapter by chapter would be too much.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
way too
yeah.
much. We
I
could be here
thought
all night. One of the characters is named Jack Barlow, and there's a rapper named Jack Harlow. And every time I read his name, I pictured this curly-haired, floppy, like, kind of looks like a douche, kind of,
What?
which fits
Oh my
his
gosh, it
character
fits.
because
Sorry if you're listening, Jack.
frick him. He's not listening, and we can get
He
into
is a
that
horrible
later.
human. Not the
He-
rapper, the character in the book.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the rapper.
Sorry again, Jack.
Kaylin just says Jack Barlow, aka butt face meanie head, and boy, if that doesn't describe his character.
He's like the total bully from middle school that just. Ugh.
Yeah.
And there's a scene at the beginning where they have to cross this like really skinny parapet to get from like one side of the school to the other side. So I guess we should set the stage. They're at this like war college where they're going to become dragon riders, and then to get to the school they have to cross this like
The parapet.
yeah, which is basically like a big balance beam kind of thing, and if you fall off, you fall like hundreds of feet and die.
And the
You
wind
die.
is whipping and
Yeah, and it's
started to
raining
rain.
and- whoa.
there's thunder and lightning and people
And-
trying to push you off.
Yeah. And so Jack is like chasing after the main character, Violet, who is already like weak. She has like a muscle condition or something where she's like already weaker than everyone
So
else.
it doesn't go into it in the book, but I looked into it because I was intrigued as a person who's like, ooh, health thing. So the author actually has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And so she has verified that Violet has Ehlers-Danlos, which is a connective tissue disorder, causing her to be like hypermobile, and all of her joints are like more likely to become like dislocated or injured. And
Which happens to her a lot in the book.
To her a lot in the book, yeah.
Interesting.
Can I say about that? I loved the inclusivity piece of that,
Yeah.
that it wasn't her physical strength. Because a lot of times if there's a main character, they're like physically bigger, stronger than everybody else, or capable of becoming that. And she had to find ways to modify and adapt to be successful. And she did that by being intelligent and making modifications
Yeah.
that helped her be successful and just kind of staying ahead of it. And she did become stronger and more physically.
But also, like, a
But-
big theme of it was like, how do you use this to your advantage?
Right,
How
yeah.
and it
Yeah.
wasn't like, oh, poor me, I'm weak and small. It was
Yeah.
like,
No,
it was
in
very
fact,
much the opposite.
one of the characters that annoyed me the most was a character that kept wanting to just like get her out of there and not
Yeah.
give her a
Like,
chance
oh,
to prove herself. Like,
po-
no, let's just take care of poor Violet. And she-
baby, oh, let
and she didn't take that. She was like, no, I'm going to find a way.
Stop it.
She's a strong, independent woman, Dane.
Yeah.
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 Maybe. And then that's why Mr. Zayden is like,
Yeah. So
we
then
love
there's
him because he's like, Dane, knock it off.
Let her figure it out.
that was really good.
Thanks.
Yeah. So there's like the three main characters. There's Violet, who's the main character, and then she's got Dane, who is her like childhood best friend, and they kind of have like a will they won't they thing going on.
Her dad is her mother. Mother's like,
Wait,
Nope.
guys, I've had kind of a long day at work. So,
Pride Month.
anyways, so Dane's dad is her mother's assistant. So they have grown up together because they have been in the chain of command
Her
together.
mother
so
is the
Like the head of the
general
whole school.
seeing
Yes.
over the Worth College. And Dane's
her
dad.
mom is a bitch.
Cold-hearted and...
Ice Queen.
We
Not
nicknamed
in a
her...
cool Aunt Elsa
She doesn't
way.
get to be called Mom. We nicknamed her General Birther because she
She does not get the right to
there
be
were
a
no
mom.
warm fuzzies and no looking out.
Anything that should be like titled mom does not qualify here. It's just
The General.
ooh.
And so yeah, there's Dane, who is this like over like kind of overprotective, like will they won't they friend, and then the pretty quickly you're introduced to Zayden, who is like
The
he-
bad boy.
yeah, he's from like the rebel faction, like he's the leader of
We
the
are
rebel
told
kids.
Right away, as she's going into this college, find Dane, stay away from Zayden. Those are her two
That
instructions.
was terrible advice, by the way.
And then
terrible
the
advice.
first thing that the first person that she sees like when she gets across is Zayden, and she's kind of like, what's up with you, dude?
You're hot, but I'm scared.
Yeah, like I kind of like don't want to mess with you, but also like
I'm just
You
so
want smooch?
attracted to you.
you just want to smooch or something real quick, but like also I hate you.
And I'm scared you're gonna
And-
kill me.
And so those are like the main characters. She's got a whole bunch of friends that go along in her journey through the college. Some make it, some don't, which we'll get to later.
Let's not talk about that.
But then for a really, really long time, they go through like the college and the learning experience and learning how to like be dragon riders, I guess, and like how to function in their society.
A bunch of tests that really
Yeah.
challenge their all abilities of riding a dragon and being basically like a warrior. So they have measures of agility that they have to go through, like a big obstacle course. They have measures of strength and combat because they have fights on the mat. They have academics, like battle strategy, and then they also have eventually, if you get a dragon, they'll have like riding classes then too.
Not everyone gets a dragon. The
I-
dragon has to select you.
Yes.
I don't know what the context is of this, but I'm reading through your notes, Kaylin, and in chapter 7, all I see is Super Spy song from the Backyardigans, and I don't remember the context, but it's I'm an international super spy.
Super spy.
And it's like,
I am out of this one.
I have the video. We could share it.
yeah,
On
and then right after that, after quoting the Backyardigans, a kid's show, you say, Code Black, we've got another Shadow Daddy. Code Black. I'm like, what happened in this chapter?
This is when she's like out getting some poison because she's outsmarting her opponents.
Poison.
Oh my gosh, I need to. Talking at the end of a talking day is not great. Anyways,
You're doing
getting
fantastic.
She's getting poison to poison her opponents on the mat, and she happens upon the group of rebel
Meeting
students,
together.
yes, that are in a larger than 3 group, which the law is that a larger than 3 group of people who are from the rebellion are illegal, and it makes you like you can report them and they'll all be pretty much put to death.
Does she report him?
No.
What does she do
She
instead?
keeps a secret.
Oh my gosh, she keeps a secret for a favor from Shadow Daddy. Or if you didn't get up from the context, that was Zayden. I don't think you actually said that. Zayden wields shadows as his
Signet. Once you bond with a dragon, and after you develop that bond, you develop a power
Yeah.
that everybody's is different, which is known as your signet.
So Zayden's is shadows. Dane's is he can read your thoughts if he touches you. There's some others that are like healing is one, like regenerative properties is a pretty important one, which her brother had before he died
Did he?
in the war.
One thing I really liked about this part of the book is that they kind of go over how the signets reflect it's because every dragon is not like you're guaranteed to get this signet if you bond with this dragon. It's a combination of like your personality and traits and what you bring to the table and also what the dragon brings to the table. So I thought it was kind of fun how everybody does have different there's same general kind of classes of signets, but everybody kind of has a different one based on their traits and personality, like, and how they showed that in the book, how it reflects. Like Dane likes to have control and know things, so that's why his signet is reading people's mind, essentially.
Right.
I guess since we said that this was for people who had read it and we did spoilers, instead of retelling it, we could have some questions like, other than the 3 main characters, who was your favorite character?
Oh,
who was your favorite side character?
I think. Ooh.
Would you like to go first, Mom? I know who yours is going to be.
Can it be a dragon?
It can be a dragon.
I loved the dragons. I want a dragon really bad.
I want 2 dragons really bad.
So Tairn, and there's a lot of really cool dragons. Tairn and Darna are 2 dragons that are more main characters, and Darren is hilarious because he's this grumpy, sarcastic, snarky dragon, and I love him. But
he's also like very much like daddy, like like he's overprotective,
but like not
proud,
He reminds me. This is gonna be really weird, but Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, his voice would be great.
He's kind of like he's really good at just like the really dry sarcasm, but like really good at also being like, well, I care about you kind of thing, like in Men in Black, like that whole type of thing. I feel like Tommy Lee Jones is like that dragon.
That's perfect.
Yep.
And then Andarna is like this sweet little baby dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's just
so cute.
The cutest little. I think of her as like a puppy.
Yes. Yeah. Like a goofy puppy.
And then I like Scale too. Is that how you say it? Scale.
Scale.
Yep. Scale. This is Zayden's dragon, and Scale and Tairn are mated. And I like how Scale is like they're mated, but they're not that like the male is the all power.
No,
like she gives it to him.
Yeah.
Like she holds everybody accountable.
She's kind of the boss of the whole show.
But everybody thinks it's Tairn, but Scale is.
Yeah. Okay, so who is your favorite non-main character.
So on my little notes here, I started to write down my favorite characters, and I ended up writing all of the side characters. So
Everyone.
I wrote Rhiannon. I really liked. I loved Rhydock. He made me laugh so much. He's like the class clown in the book.
He's very funny.
And he just, every time he opened his mouth, I was like, "That's you." I thought it was
pointing at me.
I thought it was
Yeah.
more like Sam.
Oh,
You know how Sam just waits and then has the little comment a few seconds later that's perfect?
what do you got?
Nothing yet. It's not
Be
my
funny.
moment. Be funny now.
But maybe it was you. Maybe it's more you. I
How do
don't
you
know.
spell that name? That's a cool name.
Ridoc.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Not how I would have thought.
So I really loved Rhydock. I loved what he brought to the table. Of course, the dragons. I loved the dragons. They were awesome. I wrote in very small font. I wrote Liam, and then I wrote an arrow that says sorrow, and then I wrote a frowny face that has tears dripping all the way down my page into a puddle.
So
what happened to him, Kaylin?
Liam has died.
through Kaylin's notes where she made... How many times did she make note of, I love Liam. I hope
So
nothing bad
many
happens to
times.
Liam. What if something happens to Liam? Like you knew.
Why do books do that?
And
That's
then
so
Ryan and I
mean.
both reading her notes, knowing what's going to come. We're like, oh no.
You could feel it coming, but I was like, no. And then it happened. And the whole time, like he's dying, you have that thing in your head of like, what's the author going to do to bring him back?
Yeah.
And there's going to be something.
Where's
there has
the
to be
healer?
something. And there was nothing.
And there was nothing.
And it wasn't even he died. So in the book, if the dragon that you are bonded to dies, you die as the human. It's not vice versa. So if you die as the human, the dragon can remain living, but it can sometimes emotionally tear them so much that they do not live. But in this case, it wasn't even Liam died. His dragon died, which was really sad.
And he
then
crawled to the dragon.
Oh, and then Tairn was like, he like wailed when day went down. He was like,
Which was the dragon that-
the dragon that died. And so just like there was bonds left and right with the dragons. And then it was his foster brother, Xaden, was Liam's foster brother. I was standing on the ledge reading this book, and there was tears streaming down my face.
Standing on the ledge makes it sound like you're precariously perched on a ledge.
I was on a
You
parapet.
You were standing.
An emotional parapet?
leaning against a ledge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
My
Just wanted
favorite spot to
clear that
read
up.
the book is upstairs on the ledge, like looking out the window. So I was just kind of melancholy. That's not a word.
Add more lilies.
But I was like staring out the window with tears just like streaming down my face.
Moment of silence
So
for
you-
Liam
Moment
right
of silence
there.
for
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just going through
Ryan-
Kaylin's notes.
Ryan, who's your favorite side character?
Pause. I also really like Garrick, Bodhi, and Xaden as like
Yeah.
a trio. I love that trio.
Yeah,
That's
they're really
fun.
I think that Rhydock is right up there for me. He's just very funny. I like it. At some point, they have to like go on a mission to like steal something that would like prove like what would be like the most valuable if the enemy got a hold of it. And then Rhydock's like, "I'll be the leader," and everyone's like, "You're gonna turn this into a joke if you do." And I'm like,
And he was like, fair enough.
yeah, he's like, "Yeah, you got me." On God, yep. And then I think Violet's sister is up there for me.
Oh.
Just because she's kind of like the badass, take no shit from people, but I'm a little worried about the upcoming books, like where she's going to end up on the side of things, because the end of the book, Violet ends up...
Is there music playing?
Yes.
I think it's coming from upstairs.
Nope.
Who's playing music?
Your dad hopped on the Peloton. No, I'm kidding. It is loud, whatever that was.
That was crazy. Maybe it's in our heads.
Sorry.
That probably didn't make it on the audio, but that was
That
quite
was
loud
loud.
in the house.
I will
here.
tell you, Mira is a big part of book 2.
Yeah, I'm really interested
we get to know her a lot
see,
more in book 2.
like
Okay.
how she ends up on the side of the rebellion versus the like general birther side of things. Just kind of see. And then actually, low key, their dad. Just like the little snippets
that's
you
a
get
good
from their
one.
dad,
That is
and
a
just
good
like
one.
how you could tell like he genuinely cared about the girls.
Which
and
is
the
good
kids.
because
He
the
was a
mom
dad.
sure didn't.
He was a dad.
He was a dad, and she was not a mom.
She was a vessel.
She was the general.
Yep.
So yeah, those are my favorites. I think you could really tell like that relationship.
Did
was
anybody
really
else
good.
wonder? Okay, the dad is not alive in the story, but he's just talked about in the story because he has died prior to it starting. Did anybody else wonder if the general had something to do with him dying? Because I have been wondering.
No, she's on the up and up.
Yeah. I kept that poisoning thing.
Mm-hmm.
I kept being like, and he died of a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, heart attacks are very poisony.
We've watched some.
I know some Agatha tricks. I was like, heart attacks can be very, very, very poison. Like,
I'm suspicious.
and it's like they were like, because he
Don't
was
be
so
suspicious.
sad
Don't
after
be suspicious.
Brennan's death, and I'm like, okay, but
And I don't know.
yeah. And I
I
was
don't
wondering-
trust her.
I actually wondered so the biggest spoiler of all, Brennan is still alive at the end of the book. Yes.
How about his line at the end?
welcome?
To the revolution. Oh, is it rebellion or revolution?
Revolution.
We ruined that moment.
Crap.
Brian's looking it up.
Now there's never
Moment of
gonna
all,
read the
no
book.
one knows what it actually is.
I think it's rebellion. I think you're right.
I think it's revolution. Welcome to the revolution.
Oh, I was right.
Because I had put a picture of from Les Mis of them. Viva la revolution!
So Brennan's
my
been
notes.
alive this whole time.
This whole time, and I
Zayden
was thinking,
knew.
I'm thinking that their dad may have died in helping in that process.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think-
wondering that too.
That their dad is somehow in the side of the venom. Like he got not like
His
he
dad
got
is on the side of the venom.
not like
You got some
intentionally-
looks from the side of the table.
Not like he's like the leader or whatever, but I think there's something where like the venom
I
get
think
like.
mom might be, but not dad.
Can I?
No. Please continue, Ryan.
I thought that too, Ryan. Keep going.
Thank you, Sam. I think that the venom somehow, way, shape, or form are like people that get like turned into venom. Like I don't know if they're like natural beings or something like that.
Zombies.
Kinda, but like they're like infected or something
Kind
like
of
that.
like how in Throne of Glass they get the collars.
Yeah.
Like
They're kind of controlled by other people. I feel like he was like, not like he's like the one controlling or something like that, but he was like unknowingly like part of that. Like he kind of got like fricked over.
interesting.
Did anyone else get Star Wars vibes from some of this? Like the Sith and the
Oh, I did
venom
not.
and the rebellion and
I got quite a bit of Divergent when they were at
Oh.
Basgiath. What between all the like physical tests and limitations or finding your limitations there. I did not get Star Wars.
interesting.
I think the next books will be more Star Warsy with the whole rebellion thing. I think it was like kind of more alluded to
That could be.
at this point, but like the squadron and like flying and like dragons and stuff, I can see that.
Yeah.
I was just peeking through my notes back to Andarna being so cute. There was one quote where she says to Violet, "I'm proud you're mine," and it's just so
Aw.
cute.
Oh. My other favorite quote that you wrote down, which is about, or that you wrote in reference to Dane always trying to be overprotective and Zayden trying to push her. She could use a little less protection and a little more instruction. I thought that was a really good, like, quit babying her and give her
Yeah.
what she needs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
liked
annoying, Dane.
Also, I thought this tied in really well to our podcast because we've on the last couple of podcasts talked about book bans and things like that. And there's also an underlying theme in the story where they've changed or the texts are missing.
The
from
people that control the information and history control the future.
Yeah. So there was this line said, "It takes one generation to change the text, the next generation to teach it, and it never returns," or something like that. And I was like, "Ooh, that whole
I
book
had
ban and kind of
red flag as soon as she was down in the archives and she was doing her little retrieval job that they get tasked to do little jobs. And as soon as she was like, oh, sorry, we couldn't find your little book on fables, and
Like
and
your
It doesn't
childhood
exist.
book.
yeah,
Which
at,
her dad would read to her.
at first I was like, fair enough, it's a kid's book, they wouldn't keep that in this war college library. But then I was like, then she went into,
made a point of saying like they have a copy
They
of
have every
every
book.
book.
It's like a Library of Congress situation.
yeah. And so I was like, ooh, red flag. Major
That
red
is
flag.
a very good observation going into book 2.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you have other questions written down? Besides the favorite like side characters and stuff?
I thought it was also interesting how our main character, Violet, doesn't like killing people and isn't like, she's just very, very passive. And I feel like sometimes in your main characters, I'm
They're a little
referring,
bloodthirsty.
Like Selena in
The assassin.
The Assassin. I'm like, typically they're kind of like, "Bruh," like get rid
No,
of-" and
she
she
was
even
not.
like bad people. She's like she,
Jack, who kept trying to kill her.
Yeah.
She would just like, oh, I'm just going to give you a little bad poison that slows you down for a while, but you'll
Some
be
oranges.
fine. Yeah, he was allergic to oranges.
smart girly.
I know.
As soon as in the book they were like, "Oh, get those things away from me. I don't like those." I was like, he's gonna get oranged.
He's gonna get orange.
I like that.
Get citrused, buddy.
Yep.
I like that.
Stay away
I
from,
also-
Dr. Munsky.
Yeah.
Got those things on.
Yeah.
Munsky stays strapped.
Like an orange.
I really enjoyed Xaden and Violet, how they were actually very good about communication. I get very angry at main characters who don't talk to each other.
Keep
And
secrets.
I feel like those two, there's the little bit of like, you got to keep the plot going of like, you're not quite there yet. But I do feel like they did a really good job of maintaining communication.
She didn't use the not telling people.
I want to
Yeah.
know how that's gonna end up
Exactly,
in the second
because
book.
I hope Violet doesn't get to the point of like, oh, he lied to me. I don't want to trust him anymore. Where I hope she gets to that realization of he did it for a reason.
Yeah.
And yeah. But I do appreciate that in this book because I cannot stand main characters who are just talking around things the whole
Yeah.
time. And it's like, just say the one thing to each other.
I also can't stand it when people just like.
I was just thinking
very
of some
funny
of the other
visual.
chapters when you were making that visual, and that you were maybe talking about that because there were some pretty spicy chapters too.
Mother.
Well, there were.
There was.
I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh, I hate it when characters are mopey for like way too
Yes.
long. I'm like, okay, like
Get over yourself.
I get it. Like in the real world, that's not how it happens. But like, I'm not reading the real world. Reading the real world. Get over your shit.
Yeah.
I want to read the book. So-
Agreed.
Now, yeah, I hope that doesn't come up in the second book. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm keeping a impassive face that cannot be read.
I wrote in one chapter 36, admin can suck a D, especially her mom. I mean, general birther. I don't know what happened there, but I was angry, apparently.
I think that might have been when they sent him off
oh,
to like
yes.
basically go die. Mm-hmm. At the very end, when they confront the Venom, who are real. What?
Yes,
So
it is.
the fable, the books that were missing.
Yeah.
It is
from the
because
library
that is
had
when I
been-
started
It's
sobbing.
real, yeah. And so the admin like send him off essentially to die, and
And the Venom have wyverns.
yeah,
And in some other books, wyverns have a very different personality than they do in this book. The wyverns are bad.
Yeah.
evil wyvern.
Was it wyvern?
Yeah.
How do you say it?
I say wyvern.
I do too. You say wyvern?
I've heard wyvern. That's what I've always.
Is this a psych moment? I've heard it both ways.
Heard
Yeah.
both.
So you referenced earlier Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little bit of, you haven't seen this, but Game of Thrones with the White Walkers and the Venom being kind of the White Walkers, but then the people who are like up in the major big capital like are like, that's not real.
Yeah.
Wait, that's not, we haven't been attacked by them in forever. And it's like,
Yep.
well, because the people on the edge are stopping it from happening.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I was getting kind of Game of Thrones plot in there too, a little bit.
that's a good reference.
Speaking,
I got that vibe with the library you were talking about too. Like they have the same type of deal in Game of Thrones. Like everything's stored right here.
Yeah, yeah.
Some things are off limits. I don't know if that was the case in this book, but
very.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
for
Only
sure.
a few people could access the. You have to be a scribe to access things
same deal then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
in the library.
And at first, I think it's a kind of fun in the book how at first you're like down with the rebels,
I kind of always sided with the rebel.
Well, I mean, I do too a little bit, but like that's how she writes it.
We
you
are
know?
a bit
Yeah.
of a rebellious group.
But if you've read enough fantasy, you know where it's gonna go. Like,
Yeah.
the rebels aren't really the rebels. But
Perhaps they have a good reason for doing what they're doing.
yes, and a moment for me at the end of the book was I liked how at the top of each chapter she had that little. It's like an excerpt from.
I did not understand how important that was until I went back and read them, and now you get so much out of reading those.
Yeah, I focused heavily on those when I was reading, and
I am
one
in
of
the second
ones-
book now because I realized how important they are after I went back and reread them.
Yeah, I really like how she does that, and they're all from different things, different handbooks or quotes or whatever. And one that I gasped was the chapter 39. And the quote was, "You're all cowards." And it was by Fen Riorson, who is Xaden's dad. And it said, "Redacted."
Shadow's daddy.
And so, like, that gives you... And then they redacted it because they're trying to hide information.
I have a big question. So when they're fighting what are they called again?
Venom.
Thank you. When they're fighting the Venom, one of them refers to she says to Violet, like, "Oh, my teacher, my sage would like you. She would like to know how you get that power." And so there's like this leader that hasn't been revealed yet. Like, who is this sage that's directing
Yes,
these bad
agreed.
guys? Like, where are the Venom coming from, and who is behind this? Because
What is going to be exposed?
I feel like we're gonna know that person.
I feel like it's gonna be sneaky someone at the college who's like living a double life, maybe.
I think
And that's
so too.
how like her dad maybe got roped into
I
it
think so.
unknowingly.
I don't think her dad was involved. I disagree on that.
But I agree that it's somebody at the
Well, you're wrong.
college. Yeah.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's something like that, or there's some sort of tie back to Basgiath.
Basgiath.
Basgiath. Or Basgiath.
Basgiath.
Baz.
Basgiath.
This is good podcasting. Baz. But yeah, I think there has to be some sort of tie back with like a cover up with everything else, like something going on, whether it's
Yeah.
general birther or not.
See, to me, I think it's going to be somebody that we don't see coming.
It's going to be a big betrayal.
like
scribe.
oh my. Oh, that would be interesting.
Like maybe the head scribe that she was supposed to learn under, who
Markham?
else, who else
Professor
would have
Markham?
access to take out a book from the library?
That's a great point.
I'm a genius.
Now I'm getting real excited for reading this second and third one.
I'm just over here not saying anything.
Yeah, yeah. But that's a great question though too. And where did they?
And why? Why are they keeping this big secret? What's
how?
behind it?
And where do they? My question too is like, where do they station? Like, where are these? Where do they?
Where are they coming from? What
Yeah.
is happening? Does anybody else want a dagger with like magic powers? Or like
I want
only
I want
certain
the cool
daggers
bodysuit with
that's
like
made
the
out of
daggers
dragon scales,
everywhere,
yeah.
and like it sounds like she could literally whip out a dagger
know.
at any spot in her body.
I know, and she does.
Did I look very fightery?
You sure did.
Yeah. She
That's
has a
treat
vest
for
made
the
out of
YouTube.
dragon scales,
Yeah.
and in it she can hide all these daggers.
Yeah,
I'd cross the street if I saw you on the same side as me.
yeah.
She's all limbs, baby.
Yeah.
And I wrote several times throughout my notes like, oh, I want to be good at fighting. I want to fight. And I really want to
I
like
remember you saying
take.
that to me.
Yeah,
I just want to learn how to fight.
I just want to be a fighter.
Yeah, you're such a fighter.
One should be ready. Be prepared because you never know. That's a great stance right there.
You're about as much of a fighter as Paddington.
Some people that play basketball.
Oh my
I wasn't expecting that.
I was spit out my coffee.
Yeah.
That's a fighter.
That's how you get you when they're not looking.
All right. So if we were going to kind of wrap it up, are we glad that we read it?
Yes, for
Very
sure.
much so.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yes.
I agree. Would we recommend it to other people?
I wouldn't recommend it to everyone.
I agree.
I don't think it's a book that like I would be like, oh yes, all droves of people, everyone
Yeah.
who read this. But if you're a romantasy enjoyer, and if you're also a person who enjoys a book that's just good entertainment, yes.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if you're looking to get into romantasy, it's probably a pretty easy one to access because like it's not like super deep on any level. Like
you don't
there's
have
not
to
a
like
whole lot
understand
of,
a whole system of worlds and things.
yeah, like there's
it's
not
really
like a
just
ton of magic
concentrated.
and everything's pretty
Yeah.
simple.
It's concentrated in the college, which actually isn't that much different than a college that, I mean, there's dorms and they go to class and they go to training.
Kind of like
and-
Hogwarts.
I know. Well,
'Cause
with
you got,
even
like-
less actually magic involved. I
Yeah,
mean,
for sure.
they had to study and
Yeah. So I think
they had to have battle brief, which was basically current events. And,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it really,
But
I actually really liked that. But were they
It was
telling
a
them
bit-
the whole truth?
filtered.
it was more than a bit filtered.
Yeah, it was a lot filtered.
Yeah.
Which at first I was like, I mean, I get it. They're just learning. So, like, when I was in PT school, you know, they're like, is it this or is it this? And in life, it's not that. You know what I mean? It's
Sure.
the secret third option. But then I was like, wait a minute.
I know.
They're holding too much information.
Also, a lot of people die at this college, which doesn't generally happen at your average university.
Chapter 1.
I don't know.
Like, hey, this person we just met, that's kind of cool.
My
Oh,
very
they're dead.
first note is
Like-
Dylan, R.I.P. That's my very first note.
I don't know. Jamestown was a bloodbath. I don't know what colleges you guys went to, but kids dying left and right.
I think you're
Okay.
lying.
It might be. You don't know.
So, anyways, I would definitely recommend it for someone looking to get into romantasy.
Or someone that already, likes it.
if you like romance and if you like romance for spice, this has spice. So,
If
But
you're
like
one of-
not overwhelmingly.
No,
a lot.
like,
yeah.
you could easily scan, there's a few chapters here and there, but
yeah.
it's
But
not-
like, if you like romance for that, this does have some of
it
that.
does, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of everything for everybody.
Yeah.
I would say so. If you like those kind of books.
Yeah.
For our friends who make fun of us for reading dragon books, you wouldn't like it.
Karen.
And we're going to keep reading our dragon books.
Yeah, we are.
Karen.
And we're going to love them.
Better learn
And
how
we're
to
gonna
fight,
cry about
Karen.
fake
That one's
characters.
coming.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. So, all right. Any major final words to wrap up our fourth wing? I liked doing this, read the same book and talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll have to,
Yeah.
maybe of a
This is
totally different
think we could
genre.
do-
We could do it again.
Yeah, like a memoir, like, something that's
Just
like
completely
totally
different.
different. Yeah.
The Bible.
That might be a big task to tackle, but
The Arabs.
I
in
just
history.
finished reading it all the way through. So we'll have to pick a different one.
The Bible.
okay.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Encyclopedia Britannica.
I think we should pick something more interesting.
Anyway,
We'll talk about it.
final thoughts, final words.
I'm very excited to read the next two books, even though I've already solved it.
Okay,
I've cracked the case.
All right.
kind of.
Ooh, okay. One thing. I just looked at the covers. The fourth wing cover says fly or die, and the second one says burn it down. And I like that. That's fun.
It does. What does the third one say? Does anyone have the third
I do
one?
not have
Henry?
the third one. It's only in hardcover, so I was waiting to see
me to
if I
look?
could get it.
See if you can pull up a cover and see what.
Which that is
It's
something.
right here. There's this little line above the title.
Random tangent. That is something that all book things need to go away. We need to not wait a year after a book
I
has been
agree.
released to give paperback.
Why don't they? Can't books just come out in paperback? Why is this rule a
I
thing?
get that a hardcover is more expensive, so they're going to make more money from the hardcover, but I would just pay more for a paperback.
right away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right away.
same.
Yeah.
Like find the middle ground, and
Yeah.
and then you don't have to make it another
Yeah.
whole version. Just print it straight into paperback.
exactly. Because I just love a paperback book, and I am not the biggest fan of a hardcover.
Agreed.
And on a shelf, it just fits.
Ooh.
Brave the dark.
Oh,
Which makes
okay.
sense with Onyx Stone.
So to repeat it,
They're in
They
the
go-
blind.
Onyx.
they go. His eyes are on it.
She's lightning. His eyeball storm.
On that note, we're done.
Do we?
What?
Are we done?
Oh no! The awkward pause. Oh. Are we ready for a thank you?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Actually, if you want to check us out on our socials, Instagram, paperback_perspectives, X, paperback_pod, TikTok, paperback.pod. It's pretty bland there right now. YouTube, Paperback
Same with
Perspectives.
Twitter.
Email, paperbackperspectives@gmail.com. We would love to hear your input
We
on
would.
Fourth Wing if you read it.
And if you hate it, we'll listen to that
yeah.
and we'll get back to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, send us hate mail.
Actually, I would love to know how you like. If you hated it, I would want to know why. Like
Yeah.
that's
And
unless
not-
it's about skinny jeans.
Okay, also remember, for people who don't know what we're talking about, we read a review and the person said they didn't like it because the character wore
Did they ever
skinny
mention
jeans.
that?
Just leathers, flight
They all
leathers.
wore flight leathers because you can't have flappy clothes while you're flying around on
Oh,
a
my
dragon.
tunic.
It doesn't work.
No capes.
So to that person that said that, no, that wasn't even in the book.
No.
That
Yeah.
person can send me hate mail, and I'll hate right back.
Yeah.
But if you have a real reason,
yes.
let us know.
I would love to hear. Or if you have theories, favorite characters
Yes.
that we missed, or just like little quotes or anything
Maybe
that
you love General Berther and you want to tell us why.
If you love General Berther, you will be getting hate mail from me. I will tell you that much.
we would be questioning your morals.
How? Okay.
Anyways, find us on those social media accounts. You can DM us or email us
So thanks for
or comment.
hanging out with us when we talked about Fourth Wing this week or this episode, this chapter. So thanks to Sam for keeping us going.
Who's at the table today?
Woo! Hey, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Adding to the beauty.
All right.
True.
Thanks to Lauren
Funny.
who keeps us in bookmarks and business cards and all things
Right
paperback
on.
perspectives. And thanks especially to you who put up with us and listen
Yeah.
when we just go on and on about things and have awkward pauses. Until
this
next,
one.
Like this one right here.
good effect. Until next time.
It's until the next chapter.
Oh my gosh.
How many of these have we
Have
been
we-
doing? It's only been a year.
Have we met before? Who are you?
Until the next chapter.
Are we podcasting?
Until the next
And we're
podcast.
Until the next chapter.
Goodbye. Thanks for tuning in.
none of this is making it to
This
air.
has been Paperback Perspectives.
Sam, cut us off.
Signing off for the final time. That's enough.
That was a real Midwest goodbye there. Oh, we'll see you in the next
Oh.
chapter.
Oh, hey, do you have my
Drive
casserole
careful. Watch
pan?
out for deer.
That's my mom every time. Watch for deer. Could you hit the video?
Yes.
For the love, stop it.
Okay, bye.
Still here.